Hello and welcome from the CloudStack Collaboration Conference 2024. This year we are in Spain, in Madrid, and I think we are having the biggest CloudStack Collaboration Conference so far. I'm Ivet, a CloudStack PMC member and a committer, and I'm here with John White, who is the COO of US Signal. US Signal are one of the newest users of Apache CloudStack from already around a year, and they are a major infrastructure provider in the United States. John, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about US Signal?
Sure, yeah. So like you said, John White, COO at US Signal. Been with the business for a little over a year. One of the things that we were working on at the kind of middle of 2023 is figuring out how we could start to leverage more open source projects to kind of set our own destiny and kind of put together a best of breed virtualization offering for our customers. And so US Signal as a company has been in the infrastructure space for a long time, data centers plus fiber, but we also have been focused on cloud for probably about the last 10 years. And so it's something that we saw as a big growth mechanism for us in the future and something we wanted to put some serious investment in. So yeah, we're excited to be here with the community, and the biggest one, we'll take the credit for this being the biggest CloudStack collaboration conference because we're here. But no, I think the trend in the industry, in the infrastructure space, by some of the software vendors out there have helped and pushed and drive us to get to this point. So we're excited to be here and participate.
We highly appreciate the fact that you're traveling from the United States to Europe to join the event. You mentioned setting up your own destiny. So what was the main incentive for you to go for open source solution, except of the fact that you will be vendor independent?
But that was probably the biggest one was vendor independence. But my past has been, I've been in infrastructure for a long time. So have worked inside of all the major hypervisors, actually worked at AWS. And one thing that I saw during all that time is the private cloud infrastructure that we were using, it breaks at a certain scale. And so I know where we're going to be going in the future, and I know the other paths that I've already taken. I'm trying to keep names out of it, but I know that they wouldn't be able to scale and hit where we wanted to go. So something in the open source realm, something that has already hit and achieved scale was really where we put our focus. And when we got Apache CloudStack up and running inside of our lab with our R&D team, it just showed so many benefits to us. I mean, setting our own destiny started equaling a plus. So we could provide a nice user interface for our customers. We could have multi-tenancy in it for our customers already for different business units, or if they're a service provider on their own, they could have different customers of their own in there. All of those things just started to make a lot more sense. The economics of it started to make a lot of sense. The partnership that we were able to make with Shape Blue to kind of get that support side of it and the customization side of it done, that all started making sense for us. So controlling our own destiny really got expanded into a new offering, and really just kind of an innovative way to look at something that's been around for a good 15 years now.
Have you been actually comparing CloudStack against other technologies, and what were the main benefits of CloudStack?
Yeah, so when we went out, we created this whole program to figure out our next gen virtualization platform. And when we did that, we brought in all the major players to kind of figure out what would be the best fit for us. Apache CloudStack ended up being the best fit underneath. And so when we got it up and running, we knew we needed to create a lot more understanding and awareness to the customer base, because Apache CloudStack in the United States is not that well known. And so we actually then went, and David, who's here at the conference, he actually went and did performance testing. We actually brought in a third party to do performance testing against AWS and Azure and Rackspace, IBM, and a few others to kind of see what our infrastructure that we built, how that would compare. We fared very well on the performance side of it. And then when you add in the cost side of what we're providing compared to everybody else, the bang for the buck is significantly better on US Signal's open cloud, which is then powered by Apache CloudStack.
Mentioning Open Cloud, can you tell us a bit more about the Open Cloud project?
Sure.
We're always interested as a community to actually show to the world how companies can monetize on top of open source technology. So what's the use case with it?
Yeah, so our product is, we called it Open Cloud, and very generic name, but it represents really what we're trying to, where we're trying to go. I think there's a lot of people that are consuming virtualization today, and cloud is a economic model, and we wanted to kind of combine the best of both worlds there. We think we're going to have a lot of customers repatriating back in from the hyperscalers. We're actually working on a project right now, significant spend inside of Azure. We're able to save them about 40% per month. And
That's a significant saving, actually.
I mean, especially when they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. So we could essentially save them in year one about $1 million. So think about, if we go and we ask every enterprise, hey, what would you do with an extra $1 million a year? That's a pretty big number, and they can go and invest in AI or go invest in something that's going to have better collaboration for their end users, whatever it might be, or new software development. That's a big number. And so Open Cloud is focused on providing that offering. So you get cloud-like features in private data centers, in the customer's premises, in partner data centers all over the world. We're going to make that happen.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest advantages is that when people can work with you and they can use the open cloud, they're basically giving a service which they can get from the hyperscalers, but for a better price, much more flexibility. So I suppose it's not like a standard offering, and if there are some custom requirements, you're ready to respond to them.
Absolutely. So we have a customer right now that needs some custom hardware. So we have our t-shirt sizes of hardware. We bought a few different types of servers. We have those out there. And I think for most parts, probably about 90% of our customers will live inside of there, no problem. And then we have some other customers that have unique workloads. We can go and build custom hardware for them. And I think one thing that's going to be really unique is that we can put it on the customer's premises. So if they still have big industrial systems that need very, very low latency, that's going to be our secret sauce. Is we're going to have cloud at the customer prem, cloud inside of our data centers, and then tie it together with the fiber that we offer. And so we can provide high bandwidth, low latency connections to really cloud anywhere.
Wonderful. To go back to the topic about CloudStack, we usually say that some of the biggest advantages is that, of course, it's an open source technology, but it's also very powerful, very scalable, and very easy and simple to use. Will you agree with that, and will you add something else?
Yeah, I definitely agree with all those things. I was actually pretty shocked when the R&D team told me they had it up and running. It was maybe a month, and they had it up and running, production on old hardware that we had just laying around.
What was the initial expectation? Like how much time you were thinking
I was expecting this was going to take us a good year to get up and running. And so we stood this up in January. We had a beta platform up in May. We had 6 customers on the beta platform running with 100% SLA, and then we got our product, our final product, up and live into the market in September. So in less than 12 months, we learned a new technology, we studied it, we built partnerships, and then we were able to put something out to market. So I was shocked by the speed of market.
That's really short time to market.
Yes, and then so my other misconception is I was like, okay, we're going to have a ton of customization. So I had 4 R&D engineers on this, and I said, all right, they showed me the product, and I said, all right, what have you done custom here? Because the customizations are really what gets you the long term, is that's where you'll have breaks when you go to upgrade to the latest version. They're like, nothing. This is out of the box. And I was blown away. I was like, okay, we have this nice user interface. We have multi-tenancy. We have these t-shirt sizes. This is pretty cool. And so we took it to a customer base, and we said, hey, look, this is what we have right now. It's pretty vanilla. They said, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. It has multi-tenancy. We can then bring in our own authentication into it. We can see all of our customers from a single pane of glass. We can see your zones across the United States in a single pane of glass. Done. Now we have some things in our roadmap that we're doing with virtual desktops and DR as a service, and we're enhancing some of the backups. But for the most part, we're running a vanilla system, and it satisfies majority of our customer needs.
For most of the open source projects, it's really important that companies using the technology are bringing back to the project. You mentioned about VDI and disaster recovery. So do you have some plans once you do something to contribute it to the project?
Absolutely. I mean, that is in our roadmap. We can't just be consumers. We know we have to be providers as well. And so, as we start to customize and get more customer demands in there, our goal is to start to, give back into it. And I think we have an interesting spin on it, being, a service provider with a long history of running virtualization. We have a lot of unique customers. One of our most unique base is the managed services customers. So they're selling our hardware to somebody else and they're aggregating clients. And I think that's going to be one place where we're going to have some tenancy things that we build that's going to be custom and unique that we can then give back to the code base.
Lovely. That's going to be much appreciated for the project. A few questions about the CloudStack Collaboration Conference. Mm-hmm. So that's your first time at the event, right?
Yeah, first time at the event, first time in Madrid. So a lot of firsts for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you find the event and the community?
I love it. So I gave the keynote a few hours ago, and I had people coming up, challenging some of the positions that I took. Also saying we're seeing very similar things. So it's just very collaborative, which I think is your goal. I met people in the elevator yesterday. We flew in 2 days ago, and so I met people in the elevator. I met people at the bar, and like everybody's just welcoming, and people have been coming to these for 10 years, and it's crazy. And so I got to talk to some people with some pretty cool history and kind of hear where they're coming from in the world, and that's just, it's super powerful. I mean, we live in this ecosystem in the United States that's different, but also similar. And so hearing the comparisons and the contrasts from people is just, it's really refreshing.
Yeah, it's a very viral and very friendly community.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being here with us. At the end, would you recommend Apache CloudStack to other companies?
Absolutely. And I'd recommend coming to the Collaboration Conference. If you love technology, you love to learn, like you can't beat that user-to-user interaction. So I'm glad we're here. We'll be here for the foreseeable future, every year.
Maybe next year in the USA.
No, I want to keep going. I like being in Europe or somewhere else. I love that. I go to enough conferences in the United States. I know the first one was in Vegas. Let's kind of stay out of Vegas. There's a lot of other cool places in the United States where you can go other than Vegas. So no, I'm down, and we'll definitely have a team here every year.
Thank you very much, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me.